Hey guys, this is Mrs. Allgood, and I'm here to help you through the tail end of notes that we didn't get to today. So we're going to start off talking about the levels of structural organization. And so first up will be atoms. Okay, so you want to be filling your notes in along while I'm talking. Okay, atoms, think of things like a hydrogen atom, an oxygen atom, or a carbon atom. And then atoms come together to make up molecules. So think of like a molecule of water or a molecule of oxygen. We call that molecular oxygen. And then molecules can come together to form macromolecules. So macro means large. So these are going to be large molecules. So those are going to be things like carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. And then macromolecules can come together to form organelles. Organelles are things you've learned about since elementary school. Those are mitochondria, Golgi body, mitochondria, we said mitochondrion, rough ER, smooth ER, that sort of thing. Okay? And then organelles, of course, make up cells. And so I do want you to see a definition for cells, so I'll let you get that down. Cells are the smallest units that possess all the characteristics of life. So think of it this way. When you are in a chemistry class, you focus a lot on atoms and atomic mass because atoms are the building blocks of all matter, okay? With cells are like the smallest units that make up living things. So we focus more on cells in here than we do on atoms, okay? Cells come together to form tissues, and so we do talk a lot about tissues in here. We've got a whole unit that we do, and Unit 2 is all about tissues, kind of like when we talked about the study of tissues being histology. Okay, so tissues are groups of cells that perform the same functions. So we think about epithelial tissue, connective tissue, nervous tissue, muscle tissue. Organs, you know what organs are. Those are things like your stomach and your brain. Organ systems are all the different body systems that we're going to talk about in just a moment, like your digestive system. And then organ systems make up organisms, which are you and me. Okay, we are organisms. All right, so we're going to move on to our next slide. Okay, here's where we start talking about body systems. So let me raise this up a little bit. We'll do our little window shade. Our first body system is the integumentary system. And anytime you hear the word integument, you want to think skin. Okay, so the integumentary system is the skin, okay, and it includes the glands and things that are in your skin. But we know that skin forms the external body covering. And the reason we have skin is that it protects deeper tissues from injury. And so that's what we need to know about the integumentary system. So for the quiz on Thursday, what you want to be able to do is, you'll see this on your review sheet, we want to be able to match up the integumentary system to the skin. And we also want to match up the integumentary system to its functions. Moving on, next up is the skeletal system. And so of course we're familiar with the skeleton, but I want you to think about why you have a skeleton. A skeleton is there to protect more delicate internal body organs. So if you think about what your most important organs are, like your brain and your heart, you've got bones surrounding them, okay? So that's what it does. It helps protect and support body organs. It also provides a framework that allows muscles to attach. So think about our muscle of the day. The muscles attach to different bones, okay? And then as far as it includes, I just listed some specific bones here. The femur, which is your thigh bone, your humerus, which is your upper arm bone, and your tibia, which is your shin bone, okay? So just fill in your blanks there and just know that that is your skeletal system. So up next is the muscular system. And so this is kind of what we're working through when we do our muscle of the day. The main job of the muscular system is to allow for movement. That's what lets us move. It also helps to maintain posture. And so as far as specific things it includes, I just named some specific muscles here. So biceps, that's the muscle in the front of your arm. Tricep is the muscle in the back of your upper arm. And then deltoid is like your shoulder muscle. Okay, so that's muscular system. So hopefully you kind of already know some of this, but I'm putting it on here just in case. All right, next up is the nervous system. And so your nervous system is going to consist of your brain, your spinal cord, and also spinal nerves. So those are the things in that picture that are like kind of that golden color that go all the way down your arms and legs, okay? And that's what provides sensation and stimulates muscles to contract in those parts. So we say that the nervous system is the fast-acting control system of the body, okay? It also responds to internal and external changes by activating appropriate muscles or glands. So just like, the main office might be the control system of the school, the nervous system is really the control system of the body. But we say that it's fast acting because, if you've ever touched your hand to a hot stove and you've pulled your hand away, you know that reflex occurs really fast, and that's because the nervous system is fast acting. So when we look down, it includes, we say that if you look at the picture, you see that it includes the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. So again, on your quiz on Thursday, you should be able to match up the main function of the nervous system with the nervous system and also match the organs with the nervous system. All right, next we're looking at cardiovascular. So whenever you hear that word cardio, you think heart, and then the term vascular is just referring to those artery and veins that come off of your heart. So the main reason we need a cardiovascular system is to transport blood, and the reason we need to transport blood is because it's what carries oxygen and nutrients around our body, okay? So as far as the organs that it would include, it's going to include your heart and your arteries and veins, and we'll name those later on in the semester, okay? That is cardiovascular. Its job is to pump blood around the body, and of course that blood is going to carry oxygen and nutrients. Okay, let's look at our next system. This is your respiratory system. So most people know that it includes your lungs that you see there in that picture. It also includes your trachea, which is going to be your windpipe. So that's how we get air in, whether air is coming through your nose, whether you're breathing it in through your mouth, that air is coming down your trachea and into your lungs. And so we say that the respiratory system is responsible for gas exchange. We're breathing in oxygen and we're breathing out carbon dioxide. The other organ that you see here is your larynx, and so that's at the very tippy top, right above the trachea here, and that is your voice box. All right, digestive system, okay? Your digestive system, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with. It's going to break down food into smaller units. So we're going to include the esophagus and the stomach and the intestines. Okay. That one's pretty straightforward. I don't think anyone's going to have trouble with that one. Next, we have the urinary system. Now this might be one that you're a little less familiar with. Certainly you might realize that it helps to form urine, but a lot of people don't realize that it forms urine by filtering the blood. So this system is going to consist of your two kidneys, which we kind of think of as being near our lower back. We've got these tubes called ureters, which connect our kidneys to our bladder. Okay, there's our bladder. And then you have a urethra that brings the urine to the outside of your body so you can excrete it. And so we're listing the functions of the urinary system here as filtering your blood to form urine, and in doing so, it's also regulating your salt and water balance, your solute and water balance. So if you eat a really salty pretzel, you're probably going to be holding on to more water to try and balance out that salt. Okay, so it includes your kidneys, which we see here, your ureters, your bladder, and then also your urethra. Okay, the last two, I'm going to put my window shade up there. The last two I didn't include a picture for. These are ones we don't talk about quite as much. First is the endocrine system. And the big thing that you want to associate with the endocrine system are hormones, okay? Because I want you to notice with the examples that the endocrine system is all made up of glands. So the thyroid gland, the pineal gland, and the pituitary gland, okay? Endocrine system is made up of glands, and glands produce hormones. So the endocrine system produces hormones that regulate various processes in our body. So while we think of the nervous system as the fast-acting control system of the body, we tend to think of the endocrine system as a slower control system. In fact, it's slower acting, but its effects last longer. It's a good way to think about that. And finally, the lymphatic system. You know, maybe you've heard of lymph nodes, like when you get sick and the doctor feels around on your neck and he's trying to see if your lymph nodes are swollen. Because lymph nodes and lymphatic system help fight infections. So sometimes when you have an infection with a virus or something like that, you know, some of those viruses get caught up in your lymph nodes, and so your lymph nodes swell because it's trying to fight that infection. And so the lymphatic system is going to include your lymph nodes, your spleen, which is kind of like on the side of your stomach, and then your tonsils, which we typically think of being in the back of our throat. Okay, so just as a reminder, you need to complete the review sheet that I gave you in class today. That'll help get you ready for your matching quiz on Thursday. Remember that you also have the medical timeline assignment that is also due Thursday. Okay, thanks so much.